I just wanted to share with you guys my personal experience with Facebook groups and some mistakes that I made, honestly. And today I didn't really write this out. I didn't create an outline because I feel like I wanted just to share with you my personal experience with starting a Facebook group, growing a Facebook group, some mistakes that I made at the beginning and things that I learned along the way. And then how I've been able, just in the past, I don't know, let's say since end of November, I've been able to grow my Facebook group by hundreds of people just joining and every day. And that's a few different ways that you can do that. But I just wanted to first tell you what I did at the beginning. When I first started my Facebook group, I made the mistake, and this was, I want to say, I don't know, I can't remember when exactly I started it, to be honest. It was a while back, but when I did start it, I made the mistake of just adding people without their consent. I just added a ton of people that I knew and that I thought had a business or could relate to this, and I just added a ton of people. And I don't know, I think at the time that was kind of the norm and people weren't as pissed about that, and I'm just gonna be very brutally honest here because I feel like now that's become a big time no-no. Okay, I started my group, I want to say it was probably around a year ago, and at first I just started it with the intent of having just a bunch of women who had businesses and just kind of put our heads together, and technically that's still the intent, but I really didn't have a brand, I didn't have a real business, I didn't have anything. I just kind of said, okay, anyone who wants to join it. I didn't have any strategy or anything behind it. I just made it and said, okay, people, introduce yourselves, and then if you have questions, if you want to chat or whatever, just pop them in. And I pretty much abandoned my group. Okay, so I made this group, and then I said, you know, I would pop in here and there if I had a question or if I had something to share, but I was definitely, I would go weeks. I would literally go weeks. That was the one big mistake that I did, is I started a group, I didn't have any real plan for it, and I just thought it was a cool thing to have. I saw tons of people do it, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna start a group then. And I started it, and then I just didn't nurture that relationship with the group members. And what happens when the host of the group does not engage, no one else is really going to engage. I'm sure you've entered groups where the host is not even present. They're not even there. They just have the group, and granted, if it's a group of like 10,000 people, then the host doesn't really need to do much, you know, because there's so many people in there and that they don't really have to post anything to keep the interaction up. But most of those groups that have 10,000 people, they've been around for years now. Okay, they were some of the first groups that ever started. But that was one big mistake. So one thing to keep in mind, if you're going to start your own group, or if you're thinking, well, should I have a page? Should I have a group? I'm not really sure. I would just be prepared to be in there all the time, okay? And you also, another big thing is you can't worry about bugging people. This is a big thing that I've noticed with, especially as women, we always think we're gonna bug people, you know, if we're in there too much, or if we're posting too much, we're gonna bug them, okay? You can't go into a Facebook group with that kind of an attitude and expect to have a really great high vibe Facebook group. So that's another thing I learned. Don't worry if you're gonna have a Facebook group, you're gonna make it with the intent of providing tons of value and just being there for the members and helping them in however you can, and really creating a high value space for them. So if you're gonna make a group and you're already worried, well, I just don't know how, you know, because you hear people saying, oh, you gotta post multiple times a day. That's one extreme of it. I don't personally believe that you have to be posting multiple times a day in a group. In fact, if you're the only one posting over and over and over and over, I don't think it looks very good. So for me, and this is just my personal goal, you can definitely choose whatever works for you, whatever is your style, and how much you want to put into the group. If you feel like you want to just speed track, or speed track, is that a word? You want to speed track your group, then you'll want to post in there a little bit more often. But if you, like, for me, I don't want to be a slave to my group. Okay, that's not the type of business I'm trying to create. And I also don't want to just be, to me, quality is better than quantity, for sure, at 100%. And that goes across all social media. That's my personal theory. I know that there's a lot of people out there that think that you have to be multiple times a day on Instagram, on Facebook, and just boom, 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 just kind of throwing stuff at people. But you know what? Like, for me personally, when I see people, even if like it's someone that I really like and they're just there all the time, just like posting whatever just for the sake of posting, I start to lose interest. I don't know about you guys. And tell me your thoughts. Comment some of your thoughts down in the comments, because I personally, if I just see something all the time that to me is not relevant, and even if it's a little relevant, if it's just all the time and it's kind of the same thing over and over, it's not going to work. If you are going to post multiple times a day in your group or even in social media in general, make sure it is exactly what your ideal tribe wants. Like, exactly. Like, they should be eating it up like candy every time you post. And I have had some people, very, very few people that I have followed, whether it's through email list or Facebook or Instagram, that I follow that I'm like, wow, their content is amazing every single time. I rather put less content out there, but really high quality content that I feel like really good about and I feel my tribe will appreciate. Okay, and granted, not everything is going to resonate with everyone every single time, and you can't go into it thinking, oh my gosh, are they gonna like this one, or are they gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be very in tune with what your ideal clients need and what speaks to them, how they say it, what they're currently needing in their business or in their life right now, and or their fitness or health, whatever it is that you're coaching them on. And so that's another big thing to keep in mind. If you're going to create a Facebook group, you have to already go into it knowing, okay, this is how many times a day I want to post. These are the types of posts I want to be posting. So whether that's a daily theme, I even stopped doing some of I do my daily themes not daily anymore. I have started doing them just when I feel like I want to do them. So I used to have like every day of the week I had a daily theme, and that wasn't resonating with me anymore. But I wanted a group that felt good to me and that I wasn't following these specific rules and cookie cutter rules, because I'm sure everyone here I'm sure is in other groups as well, and you probably noticed that most of the groups are doing like their daily themes, and it's just becoming very cookie cutter, and that wasn't resonating with me anymore. So I was doing my daily themes, and at first it was exciting, people were engaging, and then I just started to feel it was almost like a drag to post them. And I was scheduling them at the beginning of the week so that they got posted, but it almost became a drag, and I was like, you know what, this doesn't resonate with me anymore. So you really have to be willing to also pivot and change a little bit. So as you're building your Facebook group and maybe you started with one thing, but I really think to keep things interesting in a group, you have to switch things up a little bit. You can't be posting the same post over and over and over and over again. And people might engage here and there. And I think, like I said, there's a purpose to the daily themes, and I still will post them as I feel inspired to. So like this Monday, I posted my Monday daily theme that I was doing, but I'm not posting it every single Monday. And you know what? That's different than what other groups are doing. But to me, that's what feels right. Okay, and that's what feels right to the energy of my group, to my energy. And that's what I've been focusing on, is just doing things a little bit more intuitively and doing things that feel right to me, instead of looking at everyone else and seeing, oh, well, so-and-so's doing that, I probably should do that too. And that's a trap that I think a lot of beginners get into, is they start trying to do what everyone else is doing. Well, so-and-so's doing this, well, then this one's doing that, and that person's doing promos in her group, but this person isn't. So maybe I'll do, just stop and look inside yourself for a second and think, what feels good to me? What do I want to do? What feels right? Do what feels best for you. If you want to do daily themes, make sure that you're actually excited about them and it's stuff that your people want to really read every single day or whenever you're posting it. Okay, so I've talked about not abandoning your group. So I'm just doing a quick recap of what I've talked about so far. So the first thing is, don't make a group and then jump ship or abandon it and think that it's just going to, people will come in and just run it for you. It doesn't work that way. You are the leader and you're positioning yourself as a leader in your group, and so you have to lead your pack. So make sure that you're involved, that you are engaged, and choose an amount of engagement that resonates with you, that feels really good to you. So for me, I like to be in here at least once a day. at least I'll pop in something, and I like to make sure that I'm also responding to everyone's comments. See, another thing that I've just noticed with Facebook groups, and this is my last point about this, is I have noticed that overall, because there's so many Facebook groups and because everyone is just, I'm going to start a Facebook group, I'm going to start a Facebook group, you got to start finding ways to stand out. Otherwise, if you're doing, like I said, even more importantly, if you're doing what everyone else is doing and just following the trends, you're going to be just another group for people. Okay, so don't, just stop. So one example I'll give you, that I had this idea of doing a weekly live Q&A, like a weekly live stream with you guys. I haven't seen that done in any other groups, specifically like I'm doing it. And so for me, the idea just popped into my head, and I decided, you know what, no one else is doing that. And I thought about it. I was like, should I do it? I don't know, is that weird? But I felt like I should. And I've done it, and that's it. And that's been my choice, and that's what's felt good to me. And I get excited to come on here every week, and I know that I've kind of set up the expectation with you guys. Like, I'll be here at least once a week live. I'll pop in live some other times during the week, but I know at least on Thursdays at 4, I'm here, and I'm just giving you value, just sharing with you what I know, my personal experiences, and things that I've learned along the way, and mistakes I've made, that if I can save you from making any of those mistakes, like, I've done my job. So I wanted to also, I forgot to tell you, I at one point almost shut my group down, and I haven't really shared this with anybody really. I think maybe 1 or 2 people really know this, but because I was doing things that weren't resonating with me, that weren't good for my energy, and I was just doing things based off what I was seeing other people do, the energy that I had about this group was not a good one. And I really got to this point where I was so frustrated. I thought, well, if so-and-so's doing it, why isn't it working for me? Blah, blah, blah. And I got to a point where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just shut this down. I'm going to give it a few days, and then if something doesn't change, I'm shutting the group down. It doesn't feel good. It's becoming a drag for me. And then right when I swear, like right when I said that, and then I kind of just let go of the resistance I had with the group, things turned around, and people started flooding in. My group took off like crazy, and people were more engaged, and people were saying really great things about it. And so I knew that I couldn't just shut it down, and that this actually was serving a purpose, and there were people in here that I needed to serve in this way through the group. And so, but I'm just saying, like, if your group should never become something that you hate, and that it's a chore and it's a drag for you, because people are going to feel that energy, okay? They're going to feel into it subconsciously, and it's not going to work out well for you, and it is going to become even more of a drag. So, all right. So that's all I have for today. I don't think that there's any questions, it seems like. Like I said, if you're watching the replay later on, feel free to pop the questions in, and I'm happy to answer them for the next little bit. And yeah, you ladies are great. I will talk to you soon. Bye.